Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to tackle a huge topic, measuring training outcomes. We're going to completely flip the script on how you think about training, moving it from just an expense to what it really is, a critical project investment. So, picture this. Your team just finished a 2-day workshop. They've all got their certificates, the bill is paid. But then comes the question that probably keeps you up at night. Did it actually work? I mean, really, did anything change? Or did you just spend a big chunk of your budget on coffee, pastries, and a feel-good-for-a-day event? All right, let's just dive right into the heart of it. When you think about training, do you see it as a cost, a line item you have to defend? Or do you see it as a strategic investment in your project's future? Because honestly, how you answer that one question changes absolutely everything. Now, this is where things get really interesting. This quote from the PMP guide basically tells us that the old way of thinking, just focusing on time, cost, and scope, is outdated. The game has changed. Today, real success, the ultimate win, is all about achieving the project's objectives. And how do you do that? Well, you can't do it without a skilled, competent, and effective team. So that leads us right to this crucial link. We're about to connect the dots and show you why measuring what your team learns isn't just a nice to have. It's a core part of your job as a professional. And for anyone out there studying for your PMP, look at this. This is for you. This isn't just some abstract theory. It's right there, in black and white, in the PMP examination content outline. Measure training outcomes is a required task. It's a testable skill that separates the great project managers from the good ones. So here's the bottom line. When training actually works, it builds up your team's skills. And a team with better skills it's just that simple, way more likely to nail your project goals. It's a straight line from learning to doing to succeeding. Simple, powerful, and you absolutely have to get this. Okay, so we all agree it's important. But what are we actually supposed to be measuring? Because it's so easy to get caught up tracking all the wrong things. So let's make this super concrete and actionable. I love this slide. It makes everything crystal clear. Look, on the left, you've got activities. That's the easy stuff to count, right? How many hours, how many courses, but that doesn't tell you a thing about impact. Now, look on the right. Those are outcomes. That's the gold. Is our defect rate down? Are tasks getting done faster? Are our stakeholders actually happier? We have to stop measuring what we did and start measuring what changed. So what does that look like in the real world? Well, the PMBOK guide tells us to look for things like this. Are people individually better at their specific jobs? Sure. But just as important, are we working better as a team? Are people sharing information more openly? And hey, are people sticking around because they feel like they're growing and developing? These are the real signs that your training dollars are paying off. Okay, you're sold. You know what you need to measure. But the next big question is, how? How do you actually get this data? Well, let's open up the Project Manager's Measurement Toolkit. You have a whole bunch of powerful tools you can use, and they range from super formal to really informal. The secret is knowing which tool to pull out for the right situation. And remember, these aren't just for HR. They are active project management tools for you to use. Let's dig into a few of the most important ones. First up, team performance assessments. Think of this as your wide-angle lens. This is what you use after a team-wide training, maybe on a new piece of software. It helps you answer that big picture question. Are we, as a group, working together better now than we were before? Now let's switch to the macro lens, individual assessments. You might use these tools before a training to figure out who needs what, or you might use them after to see if a specific person really grasped the new material. This is how you make sure the training fits the person, not just the group. Performance reviews. This is where the rubber really meets the road. This is your most formal tool. You use this when you need to connect the training directly to hard project numbers. It answers the one question your boss is going to ask. Did that quality control training we paid for actually lower our defect rate? This is your proof. And finally, my personal favorite, just because it's so direct, just watching and talking to people. Seriously, no surveys, no spreadsheets. It's about seeing the new skills out in the wild. Is that developer actually writing cleaner code? Is that analyst really using the new communication technique? It's the ultimate show me, don't tell me assessment. And a lot of times, it's the most honest one. Now, it is so important to remember this. Measuring outcomes isn't the finish line. It's not a one-time thing you check off a list. It's part of a powerful, continuous cycle of getting better and better. I mean, this quote from the 7th edition of the PMBOK guide just says it all, doesn't it? We don't measure to point fingers or to check a box. We measure so we can learn. We measure so we can improve. The data itself isn't the goal, it's the fuel that helps you get better. And this is exactly what that cycle looks like. It's a simple, powerful loop. First, you assess where your team is right now. That helps you find the specific skill gaps. Then, you give them the right training to close those gaps. And then, this is the key, you measure the outcomes, which leads you right back to your next assessment. It's an engine that's constantly pushing your team forward. So I'm going to leave you with this question for your own projects. What's the one skill, if your team truly, deeply mastered it, that would completely change your project's trajectory for the better? Find that skill, train your team on it, and then measure the outcome. That is how you turn training from an expense into your most powerful strategic investment. Thanks for joining me.